Hi, I'm Lou with another episode of My Car Story. Today we're in the suburbs of Phoenix and I have Paul Friskopp with me, and he's got a glorious Packard for us today. Paul, what year, make, and model is this one?
This is a 1938 Packard 12 and it's a Formal Sedan.
I like to call it a limousine, and you'll see why when we look at this 12-cylinder car. Now, Paul, how long have you had this one?
Had it 13 years.
Any reason why the Packard brand was kind of your brand?
Well, the Packard evolved in the 30s, late 20s and early 30s into probably most people considered the car to have by American producers. It was a very elegant car, very heavy car, overbuilt in many different ways. This particular model, there were, I think, 546 Formal sedans that were built. Most of them were 8-cylinder cars, but they did offer it in a 12-cylinder, and so that makes this one kind of the top of the crop for the Formal Sedan.
There's the top of the crop. Now, how did you find it? Did it find you? You found it?
No, I had a friend that had a very similar car, and I thought they were so elegant, and
Yeah.
and so I was trying to find one, and I found it on through one of the brokers.
Well, it's different on each side of the engine bay, so we're going to open up this side first, and then we'll actually turn it around in the sun, and we'll start it.
And this car did get special recognition at the Minneapolis Concours d'Elegance, as it was selected as the most elegant car at that show. So other people agree with that.
Yeah, so let me just show, there's your vehicle information, as well as there's your number of the body.
Yeah, the bodies were pressed into the firewall. It wasn't just a plate. It was, the numbers were pressed in.
Wow, yeah, you can see all the details. Big, beautiful motor, or engine, I should say.
They built that engine, similar engine, back in the teens, but it was considered a twin 6. And then they stopped making it for a few years, and then they brought it back in the 30s, and it was referred then from there on as the 12.
Now, am I seeing this right? Here's obviously carburation. So this is the intake.
Yes.
Is this the exhaust?
Yes, the exhaust is...
So this big centerpiece here,
that's the exhaust,
that tubes down and goes out the back.
Right.
We're going to show you something in the back where the people who'd be driven, something that's interesting there. All right, we're going to close that. We're going to turn it around for you. Since we have the sun this way, I wanted to open up the back so the sun's facing you. So this is where you'd go in if you were being driven. You have your light there. Paul, this is interesting to me. What is this? It looks almost like a sewer cap.
Well, it's actually a heater for the rear compartment, because this has a divider window. So if you have that window up, you're not going to get any heat.
So there's your divider window. I'll just hold that. And I'll tell you what, can you hold that for a second? Thank you. And then if I crank this, you can see that window's going up like so. And it goes down. All right, so we'll close that. In this side of the jump box, oh, there we go. In this side of the jump box we have there. What is this, just for storage?
That was a liquor cabinet.
A liquor cabinet, right? All right, great. And then there's a jump seat.
Yes.
So a jump seat would look kind of like this. You have to really give it a pull.
You have to pull it up at the same time. Yeah,
like so. So you can see it would be another seat. This will fold up and they'll sit like so.
But you sat sideways. It didn't sit front to rear.
Right. So let me just show some of the other features back here. You have your ashtray. You got to check how you look. So you have your mirror. And of course, both sides need a mirror.
With beveled glass.
With beveled glass around the edges there. You can hear that click in. You have your lights back here.
There's a window shade on the back window there for privacy.
Oh, really? So this shade pulls up, as you can see, and it hooks up to the top. This pulls down, so you could separate if need be. And this over here, and the sun was hitting it, look at what we have here. Paul, what do we have?
That's the radio controls.
Wow.
It was all about the passenger. There is no control of the radio in the front seat.
How cool is that? You've got your grab handles, and I thought that would be good to have the sun back here and show you that before we decided to turn it around and show you the side and the front. That we'd turn it around because I wanted to have you see that in the sun. Look at the big roof line on that. I'll give you that picture from that. That's just amazing. Well, you can see where the gas goes in right here, like so. But let's show them how we have a beautiful ornament there. Show them how this works.
Well, this is the trunk that was used to carry the trunk because these cars were usually by rather well-heeled people, and they would have a winter home and a summer home, and so they would have to take all their clothes with them, so they'd carry these huge trunks on the back of the car.
Yeah, and there's a big trunk here as well for that. All right, so I wanted to show you the size of that. We'll close that up. While we're closing that, I'll give you another shot of the side of it in the light. That's just great. May I open it?
Sure.
Thank you. I noticed too you have the vents open on this side.
Yeah, those were cooling vents, and you could adjust those. They were adjusted manually, but you could open them when the engine is hot, or you'd close them for keeping it warmer.
Got it. And that's your initials?
Yes.
Nice.
And then the wife's on the other side.
Is that right? Paul, that's a good move. Wait, keep it open, keep it open. Yeah, that's a good move. The wife's on the other side. I see it has the right amount of pedals. We have that big stick shift, an H pattern, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Beautiful. And this is your brake.
Yes.
All right. Fuel, self-explanatory. Let me just show that. The big banjo steering wheel. All the gauges. Look at the Packard 12 listed there. Now, I see we've got ignition, starter, lights. I see what it looks like a trip odometer. There's this little black knob. What is that?
That's the electric fan on the heater.
Electric. Okay. And then this switch is to turn it on and off?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are these two? Is one of them a lighter or something?
One's a lighter, and then the other one is a throttle. I guess it was an early attempt for cruise control because you can pull that out at a given speed and it locks the throttle linkage.
Is this the throttle? The
No, that's the hood, the cowl vent.
Okay.
Rotate that down and it opens the cowl vent.
And I see we've got the heater down there. You've got your drive and pass, your gas, your glove box, and interestingly enough, not only do you have your sunshades, and as you can see, the beautiful headliner all the way back. Boy, that seems like it goes a long way back. And then your seats. Let me just stand right.
The lighting was unusual because it had what they called a 4-position lighting system. You had your regular low beams, then you had high beams, and you had a city, what they called a city, and a park. Or I'm sorry, city and a drive.
Okay.
And on drive, you had both beams high on the high side, and park was, or city was, one beam on the outside high and one low.
Okay.
So it switched the high side independently.
Yeah. Well, let's open the hood on this side. It's a little bit different. We'll give you the sun on that. You've got your radiator cap. Your horn, we'll hear that when we drive. Your oil fill and your oil. Well, let's start it up for him, shall we? We'll let it idle for a second. I'll get behind it. We'll give it a little rev. No, keep it going. It's so quiet, you don't even know. Let me listen to the exhaust for a second. Oh, it's almost silent. Paul, give it a rev. Kicking that moisture out of it. Wow, you can't even hear it. You can't even hear it. I think the only thing left is we got to take it for a ride.
Okay.
Let's go. We are in the 1938 Packard 12. I'm missing parts to it. Packard 12. What else do I need to know?
Formal sedan.
Formal sedan or limousine. But it's not a limousine.
It was referred to as the executive limousine because of the seat configuration in the back.
Yeah. Look at that.
It drives like a boat. You turn and then it turns when it feels like it.
All aboard?
Yeah.
What's the horn sound like? Oh, commanding.
Yes.
Let me just show people that. Right, it's very nice.
Yeah, it floats, I'll tell you.
Yeah. What type of suspension do we have here?
Coil over I'm not much of an authority on suspension systems, but
listen to
that. Well, these engines have so much torque.
Yeah.
One time when I had the high-speed gears put in the rear end,
Yeah.
it was done by a mechanic, old Packard mechanic in Des Moines, Iowa, that's well known in the Midwest. Anyway, I went to pick it up and I had an open trailer, so I had the two ramps on the street, and they had it sitting outside when I went to pick it up, and so I jumped in the car and I lined it up to the ramps, and I put it up on the trailer, and I thought, man, that was pretty tough. I had to feather that clutch in, and it was just kind of a hard pull to get it up onto the trailer.
Right.
Well, I parked that thing on the trailer from a dead stop in third gear. I had the wrong gear. So that's torque.
That is torque. And it's an H pattern.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-speed.
Yes.
Let me just show people when we're driving again. I'll show people out the back. Look at that.
It's tough to see what's in the back because of that little window.
Yeah. And the mirrors don't really look like they're positioned to see anything.
No, they're tough.
But the good news is everybody kind of sees this coming.
Yeah.
And it doesn't run up on you.
No.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to run up on anything. You're going to gently drive your Packard 12.
But whatever it would happen to hit would get moved. Yeah, they're like 5,200 pounds.
Yeah, we're not hitting anything today, Paul. We're not.
Okay.
We're not editing that any video with a hit.
You don't want to tape.
No hitting anything. Gets up pretty good. Oh yeah. like, whee!
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's big and it's, you know, it's got sound. Not a sound like a V8 because it's a V12. Still very quiet. What's the reaction when you're driving it?
Well, people, I don't think, even know what it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people stop and want to know if I have any gray poop on.
Oh, that's great. Listen to that.
When you get out and you're going on the interstate and you want to accelerate or something, at that point, it is drawing so much air that it just sounds like a great big siphon. It's just,
Yes, you can hear it.
sucking air. Because it seems odd, you know, like great big engine, and yet it's only a 2-barrel carburetor.
Yeah.
So it's got this regular little 2.5-inch throat or whatever on the carburetor, and it's sucking in all the air for this V12.
Smiles to the gallon. Well, Paul, what a treat taking your car out. So much fun. Thanks so much for being on My Car Story.
Sure.
So a little bonus footage here. I'm lounging here in our Packard, and I'm just checking my look in the mirror, as well as determining what radio station I may want to play as I'm lounging here in the back of the Packard. Oh, wait a minute. Let me ask my driver a question. Let me turn that down. Oh, Paul, can you please bring us to the chateau?
Yes, Mr. Costabile.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll roll that back up so I can have my quiet and privacy back here in the Packard. Thanks, guys.